So I bet you school never taught you about the classes. The poor class, the middle class, and the rich. Which class are you even in right now? How do you even know which one you're even in? Well, let's get right into it. Welcome back, Preneurs. I'm excited about this conversation with you, and the reason why, very simple, is because when I went to school, they didn't teach me about what class I was in, all right? So let's kind of talk about it right now and how to define it, how to make sure that you're whatever class you're in, how you can go and upgrade to the next class so you can get right into the next level of your life, whatever that may be for you. So the first class is poor class, the second class is middle class, and the third is rich. We've all heard of it before, right? But let's kind of define a couple different things because it is defined by income. If you make anywhere from $0 to $12,760, you're considered in the low poverty class right now. Now, if you make anywhere from $50,000 to about $135,000, you are considered in the middle class. And if you have a net worth right now of $1.9 million, then therefore you're considered in the rich. Now, there might be some different type of alias names for these different classes. Maybe you heard some people say, well, this is the waiting class. Right? Maybe you heard the middle class be considered this is the working class. Maybe you heard of some people call the rich class the wealthy class. These are different alias names that you probably heard as well, but it's kind of get some different things that I want to talk about is when you start talking about income and expenses, because this is really what defines, again, what class that you're really in based on your income, expenses, and the assets and liabilities. So it's going to break some down. So if you're in the poor class currently right now, okay, the income is usually based on what? A salary or government assistance, okay? Expenses usually are things like what? Maybe paying taxes, rent. You probably have fixed expenses that consistently keep coming. Maybe you have to pay obviously for food, that's an expense. Clothing is an expense. Transportation, either you have a car, you're taking some type of transportation for yourself, bus, whatever that may be. This is all expenses for you in this class. And when you start talking about assets that put money in your pocket and liabilities take money out your pocket, you don't really have any of these two right now in this class, okay? So let's go to the next one. Middle class. How do you know if you're in the middle class again? These are your range of incomes. You're usually considered in the working class, but your income is usually based on a salary as well. You might also do something on the side. You might be 1099 on the side as well, but most of your income is based on what? A salary, W-2. Now, expenses right here are what? Usually taxes. Maybe you have a house, right? Which is a mortgage. You should obviously pay for that. You have fixed expenses as well. Food, clothing, and also fun. Those are usually expenses, right? So those are different things that you have to think about. Another one is right when you start talking about assets and liabilities. Usually in the middle class right now, you really don't have too many assets. There's nothing on here. You might have one or two, but generally speaking, you don't have assets, but you do have liabilities. Again, for definition, again, assets put money into your pocket, liabilities take money out your pocket. Well, mortgage is definitely a liability because you still owe someone something, right? That home that you bought, that American dream, if that's not outright paid off and you're still paying a mortgage, that's still a liability. Consumer loans, okay? Those might also be you might still have student loans. You might still have other personal loans. Those are all liabilities. Credit cards are still considered what? A liability because you still owe someone else for what? Helping you out in regards to paying for that time at that moment. So middle class is usually in this scenario right here. So if you're in this class right here, now you see exactly your balance sheet compared to middle class. If you want to upgrade to this side, now you know exactly what is missing on both sides and what you need to upgrade on your income, expenses, or assets or liabilities so you can get to the next class of this one. But maybe you want to go into the last one, which is I want to be rich. I want to be considered into more of the wealthy scenario. Well, I want my net worth to increase. Well, here's a couple of different things you want to start thinking about. Your income is usually not from a salary. It's not a W-2 or anything like that. It's usually from dividends. It's actually multiple streams of income are coming in from your net worth to be able to increase like this. Dividends is number one. Another one is interest. Okay, you ever hear people say, oh, I just make money from my interest? Well, interest is another one. Rental income, because they might have more properties that they own outright, and they have tenants that are also in those homes that are usually paying what? Rent. So that rental income is getting paid to them, okay? Another big one is royalties. Maybe they own maybe a franchise or another business and are getting royalties from those profits that are being created from those clients, those are all what? Income streams. Income streams. Expenses, they do pay taxes. That's always a big one. And then also a mortgage payment, because they probably still own a couple different things for themselves as well that they're still paying a mortgage on. Well, here's some assets and liabilities when you start thinking about it too. Well, assets that put money in their pocket are like stocks. Maybe they have a bunch of stocks. Maybe they have stocks in Tesla. Wouldn't that be great to have right now? Maybe they have stocks in Amazon. Oh man, that would be a blessing to have right now. And many others. Stocks, bonds. Maybe they have a bond that's being held right now that's going to increase over time. Notes. Another one's real estate. Another one is intellectual property. That's so big right now. People aren't thinking about intellectual property. IP is a very big deal. These are major assets to be able to control for yourself that puts a lot of money, okay, in your net worth. Let's put it that way. And then when you start talking about liabilities are what? A mortgage, okay? They still have a mortgage they're paying. Consumer loans, they probably have other personal loans, things like that still taken out. Credit cards. Most wealthy don't ever spend any money from their checking or savings account. They use credit cards, and what that checking and savings just pays off the credit cards. It's just a credit card statement they look at consistently. Why? Because if something ever happens with that credit card payment, okay, or anything like that, or someone goes and hacks a credit card, they ain't losing any of their own personal money. They didn't lose none of their equity. So that's a wealth hack for you as well that the wealthy consistently keep doing. All right. And what happens is, what's really happening is that the poor and the middle class are usually paying the rich based on what they're owning, because they own while they are renting in essence towards them. So something to think about for yourselves in wherever class that you're in. The cool thing about it is that you can upgrade at all times. The only thing you need to know is the blueprints. All you got to know is say, well, that's what they're doing. I can go do that too. Because if I'm not mistaken, we live in America, the land of opportunity, which means that you can change anything at any time. If you don't like your bank account, you can change it. You don't even like your face, you can go change it. You can change anything here in America. So that's the cool thing about it, is that if you want to change something, you don't like the class that you're in, the cool thing about it, you can take a new class. All right. So with that will conclude this video. If you have anyone that can benefit from any of this information that wants to upgrade their class moving into this year, please tag them. And go ahead and like and share and comment all the social media. Go ahead and click that notification button if you haven't already. And we'll see you on the next video.